What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're working on a Chevy Malibu. I'm actually going to have to check my scan tool to even see the year, but regardless of the year, this is just a general video on using the Zurich ZR Pro for some misfire diagnosis. And so I want to run through how to use it, the different controls, and ways that it can help you to pinpoint a misfiring cylinder on your vehicle. So what I've got here is the ZR Pro pulled up. I'm sitting in the car running, and it is obviously misfiring. It's basically shaking me around. Actually, here I'm holding the camera still, and you can see how much it's shaking. In addition to that, we have a flashing check engine light, and we have a code. Let me back up here. Read fault code. I believe it's a P0300 for a multiple cylinder misfire. The thing is, with a P0300, commonly you want to look at something that's affecting all cylinders because you've got multiple cylinders misfiring. And so the likelihood of you having, for example, multiple coils bad or multiple injectors or things like that is unlikely, and those are things that are related to individual cylinders. So you want to be looking more at like maybe an intake manifold leak, vacuum leak, just a general vacuum leak, or a blockage in your intake or exhaust, things like that that are going to affect all cylinders. In my case, and you'll see this in a minute, it's not always true that your P0300 is going to affect all cylinders. I've seen it multiple times where you can have an individual cylinder misfiring bad enough that it's making the computer think that the adjacent cylinders are also misfiring. Because it's such a bad thing, it's occurring longer than that stroke. So for example, let's say I have a cylinder 4 misfire, and it's so bad that it's also affecting cylinder 2 and 6 on both sides of it, or something like that. So anyway, here's what we're going to do to use the ZR Pro to kind of pinpoint what's going on here. Let me back out to just the main menu. So here's right after we selected our vehicle. I can go back even further here. Oh, I'd have to end my session. So we're in the session. Don't want to end it. And what we're going to do is go to System Selection. There are multiple ways to get there. The main idea here is we want to be able to select our engine or our ECM data in dealing with a misfire. So here we're going to select our ECM. And next we're going to go to Read Data Stream. Now, if we scroll down, you see here we've got misfire data. Certain vehicles won't have this. This is, I want to say, an 08 Malibu. Anything right in this range should have this function. So I'll put that in the description of the video. This is for 08 and similar Malibu, or other GM. Okay, so now we're in misfire data. And one thing about my misfire is it smells very gassy. And so what that's telling me, not in all cases, but what that's most likely telling me is that we have a spark issue because we're getting plenty of fuel. It could still be a stuck injector, but I'm just going to start with spark. So we're going to scroll down here to misfire data. Here we go. Misfire current. You can either use history or current. Let's start with current. And we're just going to select all 6 cylinders. Whoops. Okay. And now what this is telling us is the number of misfires that are currently happening. And it's not exact. It's a little bit off because it's hard to keep up. But for example, right now we're idling just under 1,000 RPMs. So if we take about our... Wait until we get up to the top of our count here. Getting close. There. We get up to about our 180, 190 times 6. we're getting pretty close to our 1,000-ish RPM. So this is telling us pretty obviously that on cylinders 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6, there are 0 misfires occurring. But on cylinder 4, it is actively misfiring just about every time that it makes a revolution. So let's go back, and just to double check our data, we're going to go into misfire data again, unselect current, and let's go to history just to see if this has been happening for some time or if for some reason it's just acting funny right now. So we'll select all 6 in history, and this will tell us a historical record of how many times that cylinder has misfired. And you can see there the next closest 2 cylinders are cylinder 2 and cylinder 6. Very few. That could be went over a big bump or something and caused a misfire 10 times, 25 times. But here we have 22,000 misfires on cylinder 4. Not a good thing. So, what we're going to do, we know that cylinder 4 is an issue. We'll come out with the vehicle running, and I've shown this actually on this exact vehicle in another video on misfire diagnosis. You want to find your problem cylinder. In this case, we know that it's 4 on a Chevrolet. Starting on the belt side, we count back 2, 4, 6 in the front, 1, 3, 5 in the back. So right here is our 4, and that's actually already been replaced, which is not necessarily a good thing. That can also be more suspect because that's an aftermarket part, and those can have more issues. So what we're going to do is carefully unplug it and see if we notice any change in how the vehicle is running. No change whatsoever. Just for comparison, I'll show you cylinder 6 here. You can see there when I unplug it, it dips and comes back. And then I'll plug it in and it'll surge. So that one's working, and I bet we have a P0306 now since I did that. But we know for sure we need a cylinder 4 coil. So I'm going to get one coming, and I'll show you the difference. While we're at it, with a plug that has misfired that many times, actually twice now, or on 2 different occasions now over the years, we're going to go ahead and pull it and replace it. You can see it's all carboned up and burned pretty bad. So anyway, got the replacement plug. Let's go stick that in with the new coil. New coil is in, and we've got the vehicle running. It's obviously fixed. It's running fine. No shake at all. Idle is steady, and the check engine light's off. But let's go ahead and just confirm our data. So we'll scroll down again to our misfire data, and we want to go to current now because we're no longer interested in what we already know was happening. And we also can only look at cylinder 4 if we want, but just for fun, let's add a couple other cylinders to compare. And sure enough, you can see there, cylinder 4 is no longer misfiring at all. Let's give it a little bit of throttle here, just to make sure. There was just a couple, probably just some residual carbon and junk in that cylinder from having misfired for so long. I'm going to take it out and drive it, maybe just a little bit aggressive to kind of clear things out. There you go, we're giving it throttle and no misfire. So that's it. This is using the ZR Pro, and I'll try to do more videos using this scan tool. There aren't a ton out there, and I'm sort of learning it myself as well. So if I come across other things, I'll make videos. Be on the lookout for that. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video.